How's it going, everybody? Ty Sites Shadow Games Report, doing part 6 of Doom Dark Ages. I was thinking about doing Oblivion tonight, but I don't know. I was in a Doom mood. Lots of Doom lately, so just feels right. Sometimes you gotta do the things that feel right. Speaking of things that feel right, I think I'm only going to do like 3 news shows a week. Just the weirdness with the news cycle right now. The weirdness of all these pending wars. It gets a little bit odd after a while. We all feel like things should be moving along a lot smoother than they are. At least that's my general feeling. That's my general scope of the culture right now. We can all kind of see that things are feeling kind of backlogged to a degree. We're just like, where is the justice? Where is the money? Where's all of our tax money? When are we going to start seeing tax refunds from that stolen tax money? That's our money. It should go back to the people. I don't know how much it would be if we all got divided up equally that amount, but I think that would actually be one of the best things for the economy, just due to the fact it gives people money and you can actually purchase things. What isn't better for the economy than giving people money so they can purchase things? It helps everything. It's just one big, But anyways, we are going to do about 30 minutes to an hour and a half of news tonight, which I'm just going to go ahead and start saying an hour and a half because I usually go to an hour and a half. I don't even know why I say 30 minutes. I should just say I'm going to do an hour and a half of news tonight because I end up doing that much anyways. But that's our cutoff time. Our cutoff time is an hour and a half, and then we start the game. I know you might have came here to see Doom, but we got lots of hell to cover. We got the falling Satanic Empire that we are witnessing right now. At least that's how it appears. I mean, how else can you really, how would you put it? We are watching all of these things be exposed all at the same time. All the weirdness with Israel, I mean, if you think positively about it, you're like, they've been exposing every little dirty thing about this corrupt country. Now, do I think Israel should go away? Do I think it should be deleted? No, I don't. Like, I'm going to make that very clear for the FBI, possible agents that could watch my show. Like, I make my views very public. I might make a joke every now and again, but if you fall for that joke, it just shows your level of IQ, your level of discernment. So just realize that whenever, you try to take somebody to court, you might actually be creating a crime by falsifying information. So just think how you can fight back against these people as civilians because they are corrupt. I mean, there's no nice way to put it. I'm actually going to be a lot more blunt. We need more blunt people in this world, and, well, instead of me asking for it, I might as well just do it. So, either way, we are going to witness this falling satanic empire one way or another. So I suggest people do a lot more themselves. Don't just rely on the people that you watch every night on the screen. Everybody wants certain people to do certain things. I'll antagonize different journalists sometimes, trying to get them to do more. It might come off as trolling, it might come off as me just trying to hurt them or something. No, half the time it's just trying to critique them so they can be better. What helps out someone more than anything than constructive criticism? Now, I like to joke a lot. I'll take things a little too far sometimes, but that's something that gains people's attention. If there's one thing that gains people's attention more than anything, it's dissent. I'm sure a lot of people that have picked on me, will figure that out themselves, but, I hit back. That's the difference. A lot of podcasters and stuff won't hit back or anything, or they'll be nice about it, or they'll just do it in more subversive ways. Usually, I come straight at you. So, I'm not trying to be that guy, but it's just more or less. Sometimes you got to defend yourself. In this country, we're in a weird, weak place where we all kind of have to defend ourselves. We have to pick up the tools that will be able to defend ourselves, and that's both metaphorical and physical, or even mental. You need mental tools to protect yourself, you need physical tools to protect yourself, and so on and so forth. Let's get through this news. Let's get through these headlines. We'll get to the content. Democrats lead early voting in Texas GOP primaries as conservatives mobilize. Trump voices safety fears after Mar-a-Lago intruder killed. Same thing said right here for some reason. Netanyahu demands Western action on rising anti-Semitism after Bondi attack. I believe that's Bondi Beach, not Bondi. Which I always thought that was a interesting correlation. It just so happened that that beach is named Bondi. I mean, I know it's not Bondi, but if anybody listened to my music playlist that I made a few months ago, I made a song called I'm a Bondi Girl, and I was trying to, cross it over with the same style of I'm a Barbie Girl. It didn't really go as planned, but it still kind of came out the same way. Either way, go check it out. I'm trying to remember what post it was on or which. I think it was Fallen Voices, whichever playlist is that. Go check out that one. It's got it on there. I think it's one of the last songs. But either way, Trump mocks Newsom over false presidential dropout claim. Is it false? I thought he said he was going to listen to his son or something, because his son didn't want him to run. He also said his son was too young to let his opinion be voiced, I guess. I don't know. We'll have to check on that in a minute. Masked subject. I can't even talk right now. Masked suspect and Nancy Guthrie abduction appeared to visit her house before kidnapping. Sources. I'm still kind of curious if this story is fake. Just lots of strangeness to it. But there's also, I guess, possibility that Nancy, or I'm sorry, the other Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie, had to think of her name for a second, who used to host on NBC. I don't know if she still does. I don't watch NBC anymore, so I don't even know. Like if I watch NBC, it's because there's a clip of something. I don't even think they keep the same journalist a lot of the time anymore. Those journalists just go in for like a few weeks and then they get the notoriety and they leave. It seems like. I mean, I just don't see the same faces anymore. That's my point. But yeah, I mean, I don't. I'll have to present this better as I go along when it comes to the whole Savannah Guthrie and Nancy Guthrie. But I've heard that Savannah Guthrie had something to do with exposing Epstein. I don't know if that's true or not yet, though. So I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna run with it. But I will, as I get my information more put together for this story, I'll give you why I believe that. I can't remember off the top of my head why I think that. There was something that I saw, and that was the reason. And I might have covered it a few weeks ago, but yeah, it's not as it appears, in my opinion. In my opinion. SETI researchers link Titan and Saturn's rings to moon collision. Okay. Interesting. Software companies face higher borrowing costs, tougher scrutiny as AI threatens businesses. Trump administration steps up efforts to scrutinize foreign funding of universities. That's just going back to this right here real quick with the AI. That was something that was really pushed with AI whenever it was being built a few years ago, or at least more on a public level, more on a commercial level. At least what they talked about publicly. I just don't know if it's going to be the moneymaker as it was made out to be a few years ago. It was supposed to improve life and everything else, but It might also just help monopolize a lot faster, which that might be the worrisome part. We're going to need some strict antitrust laws or something to make sure that companies just do not become too powerful. That includes Tesla. That includes SpaceX, which now owns XAI. It's all Elon's companies. We can't give, all this power to Elon as much as we tend to appreciate what he does. I mean, it's just we've seen so many so many wolves within sheep's clothing. Sometimes I reverse it. We've seen so many wolves with sheep's clothing trying to be our friends, and then they end up being monsters. That's the whole analogy, just in case you don't understand that analogy. Some people are weird with analogies, I've learned. That's why I say that. But you have to realize this could be something of deceit. But anyways, moving on. I don't want to linger in it. Trump administration steps up efforts to scrutinize foreign funding of universities, which is weird. It's like, why is that a thing? My God. It's just crazy learning that you grew up in a completely corrupt world and they kept it secret your entire life. I mean, it truly was a satanic empire. Complete inversion of value systems. You have a bunch of fake Christians because of it, in my opinion. People that said that they were Christian, went to church and everything, but then they would subvert people constantly. They would lie constantly. They think that they can screw over their families. Just lots of different things. Like, it's just people that do not follow the value system. And we have to get real about that, on a philosophical level, because, well, Christians used to shame people. We used to shame people whenever they did wrong or went against your family or went against your country, etc. And we just don't do that anymore. We've become so accepting, and I know that's been a big message today amongst many other podcasters. It's just that it needs to be reinforced that there is a fragility problem. I actually read a book. I'm trying to remember what it was called. I think it was called Fragility or something like that. Or maybe it was called something else with an F. But it was basically trying to build up the idea of strength. And it was trying to call out the culture of fragility. And just people becoming too weak towards strong ideas or things that make them feel nervous. Whenever they're tested against their values or whatever, or called out towards a truth that ends up being a sin of their own behavior. I don't want to come off too vague, but hopefully you're following me. All right, let me move on. Paramount submits higher offer for Warner Bros. Discovery and bid to block Netflix, source says. A Utah mom who wrote kids' book on grief after her husband died killed him for money, prosecutors say. Judge says federal court can't rule on challenge to Orleans Sheriff's sanctuary policy. Nick Reiner pleads not guilty to murdering parents Rob Reiner and Michelle Reiner. Ex-UK ambassador to U.S. Peter Mandelson arrested after Epstein revelations. So is that... we got 2 arrests in the UK? I guess it's nice to see these arrests in other countries, but we're still waiting on some movement in our country while our president knocks on the door of war in Iran. And, well, now we have something in our own backyard, starting to kick off with Mexico. If you're not familiar what happened over the weekend with Mexico, I believe it was yesterday, we had different Mexican cartels start to pop off across the country due to the fact that El Mencho was taken out by the Mexican authorities. I don't know exactly. Yeah, okay, here it is. Actually, it's the Mexican army. Yeah, I was actually about to say if I'm not sure if it was the army or just the authorities, but it looks like it says the army here. I'll get to that in a second. EU lawmakers postpone vote on U.S. trade deal after Trump threatens 15% global tariffs. So now it's up to 15. He didn't get his Supreme Court wish over the weekend. So now there's a 10% global tariff, or I guess that was implemented yesterday. And I don't know, maybe it's going up to 15 now. Yeah, he was not happy with India exploring the Supreme Court's ruling, which is kind of funny that India jumps on that as soon as it happens. Judge permanently blocks release of Jack Smith's report on Trump classified documents case. Mexican army kills El Mencho, leader of Jalisco cartel. Is it Jalisco or Jalisco? I always ask that question whenever I see a J in a Spanish speaking country. All right. Let's see here. Let's jump on into the content. The CIA used drugs and hypnosis on mentally ill people, then funded and armed them to encourage school shootings. They wanted to create fear so that Americans would give up their Second Amendment rights. They did the same thing in Australia. Nothing about the Port Arthur massacre adds up. Look at the amount of trans mass shootings in America at the moment. Is this an old post? No, it's not at the moment. I mean, over the past couple of years, maybe. Naval intelligence officer who predicted 9/11 wrote this in 1991 about a CIA plot to use school shootings to disarm citizens. And up here at the top it says the secret government. Oh, well, look at that. Democrats lead early voting in Texas GOP primaries as conservatives mobilize. I don't know how many conservatives they're going to be able to mobilize, though. I don't know, man. Are they going to pay the... I started to kind of think about this. I was like, did they keep the illegals here so that they can, buy new votes for this election? I mean, they've already been using them. Who's to say that the Republicans wouldn't try the same thing? I mean, it is the uniparty, right? So why wouldn't they want to use their new constituents that are not being deported? Just a hot take. As of late February 23, Democratic primary ballots reached 638,000 compared to 542,943 for Republicans, surpassing Democrats. Full 2022 early voting total is just 6 days, or in just 6 days. Leads appear in counties like Dallas and Toronto, alarming figures such as activist Scott Presler. I don't feel like reading the rest. So, there have been some posts. I don't know what I'm looking at there, so I'm not even going to play it. There have been some posts that Texas might be turning blue. And you might be asking, why is that? But I feel like we all kind of have a general idea on why it might be turning blue. All of the bad takes and policies towards Israel and really through the entire country. Well, not really the country. It's just more or less that we're not seeing a lot of the money benefit us by sending it overseas to Israel and other countries. So naturally, if you're not putting the money here where it belongs to the communities that it came from, you're going to lose points. And I've already said personally that unless Trump pulls like a 180 during the summer, win my vote back, starts arresting all these people and everything else, I've already decided that I'm going to make a protest vote. Now, I'm not going to tell anybody to vote whichever way. Like, I think you should make that decision. But I am going to go ahead and tell you that I'm going to go ahead and protest vote if I don't see any positive anything towards my wallet, my well-being, my life, you know, my I mean, it's just like we literally had probably over half of our tax dollars stolen from our entire debt. Over half. So think of which it might be the full amount. You never know. We might end up finding that full amount at some point. But from what it seems like, it seems as if more than half of our entire, what is it, $38 trillion of debt, national debt, might be completely fraud. So what would a normal country do in that circumstance whenever you have that mass amount of fraud? Well, you would start fining the people that took the money. What does fining somebody do? Fining people gets the money back. Like, let's just say they even put the money somewhere else, like where we can't get to it. Start fining that person. We can even do this for deportations, by the way. Like, we have access to their bank account. If they can shut off bank accounts, or if they can even contact the banks that have those bank accounts, you know, they can be shut off from the bank provider. So, you know, if you want people to leave, all you got to do is start turning off the money. I mean, like, it's simple for me. Like, I'm just like, if they don't have money coming in to feed themselves and they get a ticket or they get like, I don't know, what is it now? $1,000 to $3,000 if they leave, somewhere in there. I can't remember the amount. I think it's like 1,500. If they get $1,500 to leave, they're probably going to take it. I don't know how long that's going to last. I mean, I'm starting to think that the entire trillion or some odd dollars that they took out for the one big beautiful bill, I'm starting to think that all of that was just like illegal funding money for like basically to get them to leave. But at the same time, now I'm starting to like rethink about it. I'm just like, if Republicans get in trouble and they get desperate this year, what if they just basically turned around and used the illegals that they're not getting rid of? What if they just ended up paying them to vote for them? I'm not saying that's what they should do. I'm just like, I'm putting it out there that that's obviously a loophole that we need to keep an eye on. I don't trust the Republicans as much as I don't trust the Democrats. I know everybody wants to play sides and teams right now, but I'm just like, no. I'm done with that. Those those two teams that pretend like they're against each other, they're fake. They're frauds. We know they're frauds. We've watched them vote alongside of each other towards very questionable things. You know, they'll change bills last second in the middle of the night. They don't do anything during the day anymore. Like, it's very fucked up and strange. And, like, these people will go home at night with whores. And, you know, Israel has already blackmailed them, or whoever else has already blackmailed them. So they just don't care. They get whores every night. They get, you know, they get paid. I'm still wondering why we even pay Congress. Like, I seriously think that whoever gets into Congress should only get, like, a food card. I mean that. They should only get a food card to, like, you know, that pays for all their food. And I don't think they should get a dime. I just don't think that they do enough. I don't think that they're fighting for us. Yeah, anyways, moving on. Did the CIA really have to murder El Mencho and set off a drug lord civil war the day I arrive? Puerto Vallarta, Jalisco region in Mexico looks like it's in a civil war. Oh yeah, is this the airport?
No mames. ¿Están bien?
So it's like the cartel like roaming around the airport with like guns? What's her name? I'm trying to think of it right now. Did I post this? I'm gonna post this real quick. Yeah, I did. I'll come back to that in a second. What's her name? Tellez? Let's hear from Miss Tellez today. Senator Lily Tellez. Beautiful Mexican woman and senator. Altus the 17th. Formerly known as Altus the 17th. Looks like you're still known as Altus the 17th. Anyways, Mexican president calls out senator for saying U.S. help against cartels is welcome.
He's calling Mexican Senator Lily Tellez a traitor for coming on Fox Noticias with me a few days ago and saying this. Listen.
The help from the United States to fight the cartels in Mexico is absolutely welcome, and that is how the majority of Mexicans feel. The only ones who don't like that President Trump is sending help and trying to support Mexicans against the cartels are the narco politicians. That includes President Sheinbaum.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum responding, saying, quote, "It's not a minor issue that a senator gave an interview to a foreign media outlet calling for intervention." Here to discuss is that Mexican Senator Lily Tellez. Senator Tellez, welcome to Fox Noticias. I'm just going to get right to it. Is Mexico a narco state?
Yes, it is. And we all Mexicans know about it. And Mexicans are afraid of the alliance between the Mexican government and the cartels that have infested our nation.
Can you explain this alliance between the president, her party, the Morena party, and the cartels?
Yes, the party has financed, has given, the cartels have given so much money to these politicians, narco politicians of Morena, to get into office, to get the power. So they protect. The Mexican government protects the cartels. That is why President Sheinbaum doesn't want the strong American leadership to help Mexico defeat the cartels. And also Sheinbaum doesn't want the rest of the world to know what is happening here in Mexico. We are on the steps to be the next Venezuela. She is aligned with Venezuela's dictator, with Cuba, and we are losing our country. They have destroyed our Republican institutions, the democratic state, and we must, I think we all Mexicans want and welcome the support of the United States to assist Mexican people against the cartels that have us all in this crisis with the traffic in fentanyl and migrants.
So her response to this, and I know this because her spokesperson came on our show in response to your interview, and they say, well, we just turned over 26 cartel members. We're working, we're sharing intelligence. What are they not doing? And why is she so resistant? She sort of speaks out of two sides of her mouth. We're working with you, Trump, and then she's chastising you for saying we need more help from the United States to crush the cartels.
Because she really doesn't want the help of the United States. She is lying to Mexican people, telling Mexican people that the United States will get in control of the whole country.
Right.
I never listened such nonsense from President Trump. What we have listened is that President Trump wants to help Mexican people against the cartels. Mexican people are suffering. So what they do is very, very little. We have huge narco politicians here in the Senate, in the presidents, governors. Mexico is a very dangerous place.
Well, that brings me to my next question, because you are speaking very bluntly, very clearly about Mexico being a narco state and the alliance and the connections to the president of Mexico. Are you afraid for your life?
Yes, I am afraid. And the president has threatened me to proceed against me with criminal prosecution, to get me out of the Senate and get me in jail, just because I told you in this space and Fox News what is the reality of our country with the cartels. The cartels are dominating everything here in Mexico. They are in all the offices of the government, in the states, in the cities, and in the national government. So, of course, I am afraid, but I want people to know I will not step back. And I pray under God's guidance that we, the United States and Mexico, must work together to defeat the cartels and to get freedom for our country, for Mexico, to stop it from being the next Venezuela.
Senator Lily Reyes, a very brave woman indeed. Thank you so much for coming on our show and speaking the truth.
Thank you, Rachel.
That's a senator, y'all. That's the kind of women we need. We need some heroes. All right, Mario Nafal says, was Epstein working with multiple intelligence agencies? The files hint at possible links to Saudi Arabia, MI6, Russian interest, and the CIA. David K. says intelligence services don't ignore circles like that. Governments which financial hubs watch.
I think there's a lot of links to Saudi as well. It's hard to really prove those things
because that's where
MI6 is clear links. Russia might have wanted a piece of that. Mossad, and obviously the CIA or U.S. intelligence, because he's on U.S. ground, so it's impossible for the U.S. intelligence not to not only know about it but be involved. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, and understand that governments have limited resources for intelligence, but they still put a lot of effort into it. If you go to the casinos in Macau, there are intelligence agents all over the place. They may be freelancers, they may be actual government employees, but they're looking for Chinese officials who've gotten into financial trouble because they were gambling beyond what their resources were. And I've written about this in the past. And so they're, hey, we could bail you out of that problem. What are you going to do for us? So
there'll be a lot of Chinese intelligence in Vegas, I assume, and Russian intelligence.
In Macau. In Macau is where you would.
In Macau there'll be U.S. intelligence, but in Vegas you'll have the enemies there because you'll have American politicians maybe doing the same thing.
And one of the reasons the Adelson family has a fleet of, at the time I wrote about it, 6 jets that can fly from Macau to Singapore is the Macau authorities would obviously have to share anything that Beijing wants. But the Singapore government, no, they're hostile to Beijing. They don't like communists. They're friendly with New Delhi. And so if you're a big gambler worried about national security with your own government, the Adelsons would fly you to Singapore to gamble because you would have some confidentiality. And all that the Chinese could get their hands on is the record that you went to Singapore.
Okay, I'm just going to stop it right there. I think we all kind of knew that. If you've been following the saga, the Epstein saga. Ian Malcolm 84 says, Grok, did Barbara Hoger accuse the CIA director William Casey of saying the following? Well, no, our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false. Let's see what Grok said. Yes, Barbara Honegger, a former Reagan administration aide, claims she heard CIA Director William Casey say this during a White House meeting in February 1981. She shared it with journalist Sarah McClendon, who publicized it. However, the quote lacks corroboration from other attendees or official records, and some interpret it as referring to efforts against foreign adversaries like the USSR. Speculate away, I guess. All right, Jonathan Pollard calls Tucker Carlson an anti-Semite. Anti-Semite over spy remarks. Pollard's video response followed Carlson's February 18th interview with U.S. Ambassador Mike Huckabee at Israel's Ben Gurion Airport, where Carlson called Pollard America's greatest traitor and questioned Huckabee's 2025 meeting with him after his wife's death. Huckabee described the 30-minute embassy visit as a routine courtesy while condemning Pollard's espionage but supporting his release after nearly 30 years. The clash spotlights tensions on the American right over U.S.-Israel relations, aid, and loyalty debates, with online users mocking Pollard's lecturing on betrayal. This traitor should have been executed.
Tucker Carlson can go ahead.
Hold up, that's Anna Kasparian saying that, not me. he started jumping in right when I finished that sentence, so I just want to be sure. Anna Kasparian says this traitor should have been executed slowly and painfully. Anna Kasparian says that, not me. Okay, moving on. Chris Minahan says American-born traitor Israeli spy Jonathan Pollard responds to Tucker Carlson's interview with Mike Huckabee. This man isn't an anti-Semite. Okay.
Lie all he wants. And the man, Tucker Carlson, can go ahead and lie all he wants. And the man, believe me, is as dangerous as Father Coughlin and Charles Lindbergh during the 1930s and 40s. This man is an anti-Semite, and what he's trying to do is smear the American Jewish community collectively with the crime of one person.
No. If Nick Fuentes is correct, supposedly his wife, or allegedly, is Jewish. So he does not hate the Jewish community. He does not hurt the Torah Jews, which they've started to call themselves because there's other kinds of Jews. There's Talmudic Jews, and those are the ones that usually hate Jesus and are okay with pedophilia. Now, if there's other kinds of Jews beyond that that are okay with that, then I'm still learning about them, so. But like I've said many times on the show, I've learned a lot more about Jews than I ever cared to know about within the past 2 years alone. I actually only thought that there used to only be one kind of Jew, but now I know that there's secular Jews, there's Torah Jews, there's Talmud Jews, there's Shabbat Jews, and there's just a lot more than that. Masonic Jews. You could go on and on.
Tucker Carlson believes in collective punishment, then maybe he should be open about that, okay? But here's a guy who doesn't have any of the facts himself, relies upon individuals who have no credibility at all, and then takes money from Qatar, has a home in Qatar, and is doing the bidding of the Muslim Brotherhood. Now, if he wants to deny that, then he should open up his records, and let's see if he's been taking any money from Qatar. My sources say he is, which makes him an agent of influence. Is Tucker Carlson registered as an agent of the Qatari government? Not that I'm aware of. So Tucker Carlson is actually a criminal and should be taken to court, sentenced, and appropriately punished. When it comes to slander and libel, and people have asked me why I don't take him to court on those issues, it's pointless, because a serial liar, a deranged serial liar like Tucker Carlson, can bob and weave and bring in any number of incredible or uncredible sources to back up what he's saying. Enough to confuse a jury, and I don't want to run the risk of losing a case to...
Well, yeah, you would lose, because this is called misrepresenting someone. You're not representing his arguments in any type of good faith, and bad faith arguments are slanderous. So...
an enemy of my people like this. So the bottom line on this is, in conclusion, I was very disappointed by the Israeli government bending to President Trump's pressure to let him into the country. I was disappointed, I have to say, in Ambassador Huckabee's answers dealing with me. But I was not surprised at all by the lies and slander that Tucker Carlson delivered at me. My people have faced enemies like him down through history, and we've outlived them all. Hopefully, we will outlive Tucker Carlson as well.
I've never considered Jews to be an enemy throughout my entire life. Actually, it was only a few years ago that I asked one of my friends that he's a bit older than me. I learned quite a few things from him. Like, he taught me different survival things, things along those lines. But I asked him one day, I was like, why does everybody hate Jews so much? And he said, it's because they're the bankers. And I was just like, I kind of sat there for a minute and I was just like, that's crazy because, like, I didn't know that a lot of the bankers were Jewish. I'm not saying they all are. I'm just saying that a lot of them are. And, well, you know what's strange, too, at the same time? I knew that the Rothschilds were Jewish, but I never thought to, you know, I guess, make that the thing. Make that the subject of debate, their faith. I figured that was one of the last things on the list to critique. And now I know why. I mean, a lot of them are secular. They don't actually believe in it. I mean, they might ascribe to some of the value systems. Maybe, that's something I was actually kind of wondering myself. I was like, what is secular Judaism? If Judaism is about worshiping God and, Yahweh and angels and so on and so forth, then I don't know. I just draw a blank. I'm just like, why would you? I don't know. They're just fake. I mean, they're just fake. I don't have to think about it too hard. It's just it's deceit. It's thievery of truth. It's trickery. They think, or at least the bad um, groups of Jews. I'm not going to say all of them, just the bad groups. I mean, there's the Torah Jews. I agree with them almost completely. Obviously, I disagree with them on the Messiah, but whenever it comes to the Torah Jews and the Old Testament, there's still a large portion of it that I'll still, ascribe to. But I don't ascribe to the slavery portion of things. Take I don't remember the exact words, but I think it says something along the lines like take Gentiles from other nations or something like that. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because I do misquote sometimes. I'm not trying to, but I'm trying to convey the fact that the Old Testament does try to justify slavery, and it seems like it's for the Gentiles, like, which the Jews were for the Torah. That means any other people of other nations could be considered a slave. That means they're literally using the Bible to enslave certain groups, or at least to justify it. I mean, they're not using the Bible, they're using it to justify it. I mean, they're the ones doing it, not the Bible. Anyways, the CIA is responsible for most of the evil in the world. It must be destroyed, says App Patriot Girl. This is Joe Altman.
Into Dominion. Can they actually steal an election, or is it just a hyperbolic guy? And then I was like, wait, we have a Georgia runoff race for the Senate seat. And then I built this model and I was like, they're going to steal it. Here's how they're going to do it. I mathematically mapped out how they were going to steal the election, and I went to Washington. And then it happened exactly the way I said it happened. And I met with NSA guys, I met with ODNI people, I met with lawyers, I met with guys that said, how did you get this information? I said, well, I went through and did a map of all the RFPs, RFQs, manuals, things that I had for Dominion, and I built backwards what the vulnerabilities would be. And then I looked at statistically what happened on November 3rd. And then I said, okay, in this runoff election, the Democrats are going to take both seats. And here's how they're going to do it. They're going to flip it, and the vote's going to come down, it's going to come back up. I literally told them exactly what was going to happen. John Eastman was there. His entire speech at Ellipsis with President Trump on Jan 6th was information that he took from me from hours of grilling me over a 2-day period of time.
Wow.
So, and I went to meet with Pompeo's counsel. Pompeo was supposed to be there, and I was in a skiff at the State Department when everything happened at the Capitol, briefing counsel, and he looked up at me and he's sweating in a room that is very cool. And I'm like, oh crap, he knows. And that's how I knew it was an inside job.
I was reading this headline and I was realizing how misleading it is. U.S. reassures Arab allies after Huckabee's expansive Israel comments. Okay, in the entire thing here, it doesn't say that the U.S. has reassured Arab allies. Where's Grok on this? I'm gonna get Grok out for this one. Okay, I'm just gonna Grok it right here. We're Grokking it. I'm even gonna call out Grok right here. Watch this, guys. Alright, in your headline, you said... Let me make sure Grok knows I'm talking to Grok. In your Grok headline, you said... U.S. reassures Arab allies after Huckabee's expansive Israel comments. Did the USA reassure Arab allies? Can you show me the post that you got this from? Sorry, I'm typing kind of weird. All right, former CIA officer John Curacao. I joined the CIA in 1990. Literally on my first day, we were warned about Israel.
Everybody knows Jeffrey Epstein was working on the behalf of Israel intelligence. They know, I mean, just the fact that Ehud Barak was at his apartment and working in his office all the time, was his handler.
Yeah.
All the stuff with, even with Robert Maxwell and Ghislaine Maxwell.
Right.
Like, it's so obvious in plain sight. My question is, why can't Trump admit that?
Nobody wants to talk about Israel.
Right.
Nobody wants to have that conversation. I joined the CIA in 1990, and literally on my first day, we were warned about Israeli espionage against the United States. The FBI identified 187 Israeli spies in the United States. 187. That was an FBI number. And where were they? They had infiltrated American defense contractors all across the country. But they're Israeli, so nobody does anything about it.
Everybody knows Jeffrey Epstein was working on the behalf of Israel intelligence. They know.
Okay, so we have some sources listed here. It looks like CBS said it. Looks like British Broadcasting said it. Daily Wire. Not the best of sources. You got some X-Post? Show me the X-Post. Arab nations slam Huckabee's Israel remark. Joint statement calls comment inflammatory and dangerous. Oh yeah, this is the long-ass... Oh wait, that's not it. I think I showed it on Friday. Yeah, this is it. I posted that. But let's see what she has to say up here real quick. You'll see that.
Now, Arab and Islamic nations have issued a joint condemnation of remarks that were made by United States Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, after he had suggested that Israel held a biblical right to a vast stretch of occupied West Bank. Now, Huckabee, who is a former Baptist minister and outspoken supporter of Israel, made the remarks during an appearance on the podcast that was hosted by far-right commentator Tucker Carlson. The reaction intensified on Sunday when more than a dozen Arab and Islamic governments, along with 3 major regional organizations, released a joint statement condemning the ambassador's comments as dangerous and inflammatory. The statement was issued by the United Arab Emirates Foreign Ministry and signed by the UAE, Egypt, Jordan, Indonesia, and Pakistan. In fact, also by Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, Oman, Bahrain, Lebanon, Syria, and the State of Palestine. It was also endorsed by the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the Arab League, and the Gulf Cooperation Council. The signatories said that the remarks violate the United Nations Charter and undermine efforts to de-escalate the war in Gaza and advance a political pathway towards a comprehensive statement. In fact, even before the joint statement, several Arab states had issued separate condemnations. Saudi Arabia described the ambassador's comments as reckless and irresponsible, while Jordan called them as an assault on the sovereignty of the countries in the region. Kuwait labeled the remarks as a flagrant violation of international law, while Oman warned that they threaten prospects for peace and regional stability. It was on Saturday that Huckabee even published 2 posts on social media platform clarifying his position on other issues raised in the interview, but did not directly address his remarks about the biblical verse. Meanwhile, the Speaker of the Israeli Parliament, Amir Ohana, praised Huckabee for his overall pro-Israel stance.
Okay, well, that answers that question. That's good. So yeah, as I said before, it does seem as if... Where's it at? Yeah, this is it. The U.S. did provide a reassurance saying there's no changes for the policy of the region. So that's a good sign. That means that there is 2 opposing policies being run right now, but that is also still a problem if Israel is still trying to go for the Greater Israel Project, and the U.S. is saying that they don't want to take over the Middle East. They don't want to help Israel create this Greater Israel Project. It's kind of contradicting. It's like, is the U.S. just going to keep playing along with Israel, or is there going to be a stopping point with this allyship, supporting them endlessly on whatever it is? There has to be a stopping point, right? I mean, otherwise, these countries are just going to backlash at some point, because they'll have to. They'll be put in that position where it's just like, they were completely deceived, they try to trust us, and they just won't be able to after a certain point because of Israel. Which kind of brings me to the next point. When are you going to topple the rest of this satanic empire that is literally threatening the world with global annihilation if we don't listen to them? You know, there was a new Epstein document that just dropped a few days ago, I believe, or maybe it came out with the last of them, or maybe it was just discovered. I don't know exactly. But there's supposedly, at least mentioned in this doc, there was 200 nuclear bombs that Israel is in possession of. Now, that's all alleged stuff. I heard it from an Epstein email. I didn't actually see the email, so go check that out for yourselves. I don't even know if I posted about it. I might have. Either way. The CIA can shape explosives to a gnat's eyelash. Is that just like somebody?
The agency does use bombs for operations. It's not realistic in this particular scene. You can actually characterize the blast pattern and shape that of an explosive, like to a gnat's eyelash. And so, again, we would characterize the target environment, and then we would make sure, and we actually built them and did dry runs, right? And then provided sufficient overwatch. The agency does use...
I don't know why I covered that. So I have a new music gaming mix playlist. If anybody wants to go check it out, it's Aetherwave Volume 2. Etherwave, Aetherwave. Say it whatever wave you want to say it. Whichever wave you want to say it. I don't know what I'm saying. Go check it out. I put a lot of Yaz flute and violin in this one. I like it. I'm still trying to decide if I like it better than the first one I made, but I like it. It's still good. There's a few songs that didn't make it on there. I know. I'm thinking about making a volume 4 for this particular one just because there's so many bleed over songs. I had over 5 hours of music for each volume, and yeah, I think I'm just gonna put it into like one neat package for volume 4. I don't know, maybe. I've never made a volume 4 before. It could explode on me. We don't know what happens with volume 4. We've never been there. Never been that far before. Also, usually by the third volume, I'm kind of tired of the genre, and I kind of want to make something different. Either way. I mean, I love the genre, don't get me wrong. Let's see here. We already covered that one. We covered that one. We covered that. Well, that's today's episode. Wow, the president is sundowning harder than usual tonight. Governor Gavin Newsom's press office. Donald Trump says, wow, Gavin Newsom just dropped out of the presidential race. President DJT. Did he actually? Let's see. Let's fact check that real quick. So I think even Grog said. Let's see. Did Gavin drop out? No, Gavin has not dropped out. Why does it say that then? Well, who's fake news now, man? I feel like Trump is fake news, damn it. Trump, you lying. DD Geopolitics, quote, they're probably a week away from having industrial grade bum making material. Is he talking about
They're
Iran?
probably a week away from having industrial grade bomb making material.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. I don't know if that song's copyrighted, so I can't play it. Benjamin Netanyahu says, I'll let him finish.
אני דורש מממשלות המערב לעשות את מה שנדרש כדי
Turn off
להילחם
his voice because I don't even want to hear it. You guys can read it if you want to read it. I'm not even going to read it. Saudi Arabia royal family bombshell. Eliminate Khamenei. Is this true? Saudi Arabia royal family bombshell. Eliminate Khamenei. Is that true? Did he say this? Hurry up, Grok. You're slow as shit. No direct Saudi official statements support the claim. So it's fake? This is why I'm doing this a lot more, guys. The claim that the Saudi royal family source advocated for eliminating Supreme Leader stems from a report by Israeli broadcaster N12 News, which was picked up and amplified by the Jerusalem Post. Okay, so I guess he did say it. Alright. Well, why did your little Grok thing say the other thing that it read off? It was saying that there was no sources, and then look at all these sources all of a sudden. That's funny. Your thoughts were wrong. Yeah, you thought for 28 seconds. And your first thoughts were completely wrong. You lied to me, kinda, but then you made up for it. So, thank you. Outrage erupts after Secret Service protecting President Trump is getting no paychecks because Democrats shut down DHS. You heard
Sandra,
that,
good
right?
afternoon. Congress
Says
is
Eric
back
Doherty.
in session today after a 10-day hiatus, but there's no breakthrough to end the
Shit. My bad, yeah.
Sandra, good afternoon. Congress is back in session today after a 10-day hiatus, but there's no breakthrough to end the impasse over DHS. That means that Secret Service agents protecting the president are not getting paid. That bothers Republicans, especially after Sunday's episode at Mar-a-Lago.
Secret Service is not funded because Democrats are not funding Department of Homeland Security. So those Secret Service agents that are on the ground there working, their department, their agency is not funded right now, putting them at risk of not being paid to do their always inherently dangerous work.
This is the third major incident involving the president's safety since he was shot in 2024 in Butler, Pennsylvania. DHS and the Secret Service play a big role protecting State of the Union at the Capitol tomorrow night.
but people just seem to be opposing him from every angle. And this is not the answer.
Yeah.
Violence is never the answer.
President Trump has the majority of America, but he does have people who will cause time and time again people to do and think
that's what he was saying.
what you
He
saw
doesn't feel
again
safe
now
or
at
something.
Mar-a-Lago.
Let's go down here where he's actually saying it.
I don't know how long I'll be around. Got a lot of people gunning for me, don't I? Huh? But I will not forget them. I'm never going to forget them. I don't know how long I'll be around.
Well, if you think you're gonna die, dude, it'd be nice if you like did, you know. I don't know, like not take us into World War III. I know Curacao says that there's a possibility that Trump is trying to strike Iran so that Israel doesn't take us into World War III. But I feel like that's counterintuitive and it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like logically. I just don't see. And now we also have the Pentagon even warning against it. So MJ Truth also puts out a longer clip of the same thing here. Before I play that, I'll play this other Kim.com, since I've had it sitting over here. U.S. wires $10 billion to Board of Peace, an offshore entity Trump controls. Trump is chairman of for life.
And I want to let you know
Trump
that
is
the
chairman
United
for
States
life.
is going to make a contribution of $10 billion to the Board of Peace. Thank you.
I never thought about that.
And we've had great support for that number. And that number is a very small number when you look at that compared to the cost of war. That's 2 weeks of fighting. It's a very small number. It sounds like a lot, but it's a very small number. So we're committed to $10 billion. Together we can achieve the dream of bringing lasting harmony to a region tortured by centuries of war. And Americans like Lakin and Grant and Javier, Joshua, Rocky, Rachel, Kayla, these are great people, and we're never going to forget them. I'll never forget them. I don't know how long I'll be around. Got a lot of people gunning for me, don't I? Huh? But I will not forget them. I'm never going to forget them. And I just think you're among the most brave people. I meet a lot of brave people. I meet warriors. I give out congressional medals of honor where people recommend, like these two in front of me who are so wonderful, but they recommend, and I meet the greatest people. But this is a group of people that, for whatever reason, I just feel maybe the warmest about. So at least you have one friend, and we don't understand why you don't have many, and maybe you will. I don't know. But Americans like Lakin and Grant and Javier, Joshua, Rocky, Rachel, Kayla.
Start over. White House inside source tells John Curacao Trump has decided to attack Iran on Monday or Tuesday.
I have a friend, former CIA officer, who was at the White House this morning talking to his friends, and he says that a decision has been made to attack Iran on Monday or Tuesday. The president yesterday gave the Iranians 10 days to accept our proposals for an end to their ballistic missile program, an end to their uranium enrichment program, an end to supporting groups in the Middle East like Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis. But he's done this before. Well, he'll give you 10 days, he'll give you 2 weeks, and then he'll just attack 2 days into it. He thinks that keeps people off balance. And so he said that there are battle lines, that the anti-war forces are J.D. Vance and Tulsi Gabbard. He said that
That's it?
That's it. He said the pro-war people are led by Marco Rubio and include Pete Hegseth and now the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And I stopped him on that point this morning and I said, wait a minute. I said, during the Iraq War, at the start of the Iraq War, the most stridently anti-war component was the Joint Chiefs of Staff. They were always the last ones that wanted to attack because they know what war is. And he said, but you forget, Trump has replaced all of the Joint Chiefs this year, in the past 12 months, which I had forgotten. Any of these 4-star generals who, had worked their way up through the ranks, but had served under Biden, he fired all of them. All of them. And he promoted people that he knew would be politically loyal.
Do you think this is to distract from the current scandal?
Probably in part, yeah.
How about them saying they're going to release the UFO files last night, which I've wanted released forever. But
I know, right? Timing, I mean, we've been talking about this for years.
The timing.
Yeah.
Mike Lee says, what's the best thing the GOP Senate could do to boost GOP voter turnout in 2026? Democrats are outvoting Republicans in early voting for the March 3rd primary, and if Texas falls, the nation falls. From their persistence. Sorry. I just know he's gay or something, so. I just think it's weird he has 2.4 million followers. Jeez. Anyways. Alright, Vote Hub says through week 1, early voting in Texas, the gap between Democratic and Republican primary ballots cast is widening at an accelerated pace. Democrats have 132,000. I don't know how to read that, but it's basically a plus. Anyways. I drew a blank in my mind. I was just kind of like, I'm too tired right now. Too tired to care. 42 House members have joined Sharia-Free America Caucus, representing 20 states, nearly half the country. America's culture, history, and rugged spirit make us exceptional. Sharia stands opposed to our Constitution and way of life. From Rep. Keith, is it Self? Such a weird last name. I remember that guy. Keith Self. Books Behind Borders says the entire war on terror was fake. The United States and Israel created ISIS and Al-Qaeda. That's why they never attack Israel.
Not to be a conspiracy theorist, but have you ever noticed that ISIS and Al-Qaeda fight along the Israeli border, but they don't ever attack Israel directly? They tell us that Muslims hate Jews. So why don't they ever attack Israel directly? Why do they only fight fellow Muslims, which is entirely against their religion? Well, I know why. It's because Al-Qaeda works for the United States government and ISIS is an Israel and US government creation. Listen, if you think about it, it makes sense. Neither of these groups do anything Islamic. They don't ever attack Israel. They don't ever attack the Gulf region. They only fight fellow Muslims, which again is against their religion, in countries like Libya and Syria. And we literally use them to overthrow governments in Libya, in Syria, which only furthers Israel's interests. We used ISIS to overthrow Gaddafi in Libya. And last year, we used Al-Qaeda to overthrow Assad in Syria. Think about this. The president of Syria is a member of Al-Qaeda, okay? There's no such thing as a former member of Al-Qaeda. You don't just wake up one day and be like, oh, I've had enough. I want to now go be a diplomat. That is not a thing. The current president of Syria was in prison in Iraq for 5 years, being tortured by the CIA and the US government. And now all of a sudden we've employed him and installed him as the president of Syria. And you're going to try to tell me that Al-Qaeda is not a creation of the US government when it's proven that we created Al-Qaeda to overthrow the Soviet Union in
Operation Cyclone.
Afghanistan? So we just stopped working with them? That's what I'm supposed to believe? No, we created Al-Qaeda, we've been working with Al-Qaeda, and we created ISIS, and we've been working with ISIS. That is why they don't ever attack Israel and the Gulf region, and they only fight Muslims to further Israel's interests. But hey, listen, don't take my word for it. The president of Syria, a current member of Al-Qaeda, spoke at the United Nations. We literally had a reward out for this guy for $10 million. And he is now speaking at the United Nations. So there's all the proof you need that he is a creation of the United States government, and he has always worked for the United States government.
President Trump has grown increasingly frustrated with what aides describe as the limits of military leverage against Iran, with military planners telling the president that any strike on Tehran's assets would almost certainly not be a singular, decisive blow. Instead, limited strikes could open the door to a wider confrontation, one that risks drawing the United States into a protracted conflict in the Middle East, according to multiple sources familiar with the matter who spoke to CBS News. That's from OSINT Defender. Yeah, Kerry Pergine Baller saying no one wins when religious freedom is being jeopardized by Zionist supremacists who are trying to remove a Catholic from a religious liberty commission because she doesn't believe in the heretical teachings of dispensationalism. Just totally jacked up that word. Dispensationalism. Dispensationalism. Okay, sorry. I'm kind of nasally tonight, so yeah, that's why I'm like stumbling on that. Nick Sorter. Oh wait, let me read this first. The White House says, can't stop winning. President Trump says we're winning too much. Just not fair. President DJT. Winning what? Like, I honestly don't even know. Like, I'm not winning. Like, I mean, I think my gas prices are only down like 20 cents in my area. Still lots of $2.60 gas prices. I'm not too grateful at the moment. And the only stores that I noticed any price decreases was Walmart. Which is offensive because I can't even get my frickin' stuff there right now. I don't know why, but it hurts my feelings. President Trump warns Iran, and I don't know why they won't stock my shit either. Okay, guys? I'm not trying to whine. I'm moody because I had to go to Kroger to get it. And I have to pay like $2 extra for the same damn shit. Alright. President Trump warns Iran, if we don't make a deal, it will be a very bad day for that country. President Trump also said he'd much rather have a deal than a war. Additionally, 47 lambasted a story from the fake news media stating that General Razan Kane is against striking Iran. Okay. Razan Kane is a great fighter and represents the most powerful military anywhere in the world. He has not spoken of not doing Iran or even the fake limited strikes that I have been reading about. He only knows one thing, how to win, and if he is told to do so, he will be leading the pack. So I guess the fake media or who was it? Did they say what media outlet? No? Okay. Well, the fake media said that Razan Kane, or General Razan Kane, was not about it, but I guess he is. Joel Webbin says, we all saw Tucker Carlson demolish Gov. Mike Huckabee. I think Americans are finally ready for this conversation.
That many of the Jewish people in AD 70, they saw it as the exact fulfillment to the words of Christ, and they realized in that moment, oh my goodness, he was right. We crucified our Messiah. And they actually got out. Many were destroyed and died in Jerusalem who did not believe. They stayed thinking, oh, we'll make it. God will defend us. They stayed and they were conquered and they died. But the ones who escaped, they escaped because they saw it as a fulfillment to Christ's words, and they believed, they heard and believed his words. And they said, whoa, this is what Jesus said would happen before us, this generation, passed away. He actually was the Messiah, and we should believe in him, salvation. So they became Christians, and also we should practically obey him by getting out of Dodge. And so the Jews who lived were the Jews who became Christians. They converted to Christianity, they believed the words of Jesus, and they fled. They escaped from that desolation in AD 70, and they mingled. Therefore, they no longer have a nation state, which means they're now refugees in other places. They committed themselves, this is the logical conclusion, committed themselves to the apostolic teaching of the New Testament that says it is not about one who is a Jew outwardly of the flesh, but inwardly, not circumcision of the flesh, but circumcision of the heart. So they no longer put stock in their Jewishness according to the flesh, believed that Jesus was the Messiah, converted to Christianity, escaped the judgment. All the ones who didn't have this heart change stayed in the judgment. And so now these guys, they're Christians, they're alive, and they're not putting stock in the flesh anymore, and they don't have a nation state to mingle in anymore. So they're dispersed, a dispersion among all these other Gentile countries, and they likely, logically, intermarried with them. And so who are the physical Jews today? Here it is. Nobody. Nobody. There are Palestinians. They've swabbed 2,000-year-old catacombs underneath Israel, and there are Palestinians that actually match up more than Ashkenazi Jews. And there are people who argue for the black Hebrew Israelites, and people who argue, well, the Caucasians, because they dispersed them above the Caucasus Mountain. Here, I love all those views. You know why I love them? Not because I believe them. I love all those views because I love every time somebody comes to me and says, white people are actually the physical descendants. Black people are the descendants. Palestinians are the descendants. Ashkenazi Jews are the descendants. Or here's an alternative. Titus destroyed the temple. The birth records were literally kept in the temple so that God in his providence saw fit that no one would be able to prove who actually was a descendant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Why? Because it doesn't matter. Because now what matters is faith in Christ. Faith in Christ.
The covenant matters. The value system. This is why I started the whole conversation with this show today about value systems. To follow a covenant, you have to follow the principles of that religion. What is a covenant? Here, I'll help you. What is a covenant? What is a covenant? My fingers are frozen right now, sorry. Covenant is a solemn binding agreement between two or more parties, often involving promises, obligations, and sometimes rituals or oaths. About to choke on my cookie. Sorry. I have like one tiny little piece on the back of my throat and it's tickling my throat. Not a good time for that. All right. In the Bible, covenants are central to God's relationship with humanity, serving as the foundation of his redemptive plan. Look at that! Exactly what I wanted to talk about. Unlike modern contracts, biblical covenants are deeply relational and personal, often involving lifelong commitments, shared identity, and divine witness. Hell yeah. Talk dirty to me, baby. I'm just kidding. Kidding. Key characteristics of biblical covenants says oath-bound, unilateral and bilateral, eternal and generational, accompanied by signs, Noahic covenant, Abrahamic covenant, Mosaic covenant, Davidic covenant, New covenant. I like that new covenant shit. Know what I'm saying? Alright, anyways. Back to what we were talking about. The Pentagon's top general has cautioned President Trump from an attack on Iran, saying that shortfalls in critical munitions and lack of support from his allies will add significant risk to the operation and to U.S. personnel. Yeah. That's probably the first rational thing we've read about the war tonight. Weird, it came from the Washington Post, someone that I don't like. Megatron says something similar. Pentagon urges Trump not to attack Iran. Who is this guy? Is that Kane? Who is this guy? Yeah, Dan Kane. Concerns are largely been voiced by General Dan Kane. Interesting. So Trump said something positive about Dan Kane. Interesting. Are you going to listen to your general, dude? Very, very interesting. Will Trump not end up attacking Iran? What if it's to subvert Israel in some weird way? I'm just trying to speculate here. I'm not saying it is. I'm just trying to think. Sometimes it's good to stop and think a little bit. Why is he doing this? Why is he throwing all of our military equipment on the other side of the world whenever we got the cartel popping off in Mexico? Massive anti-Netanyahu protests in Israel. Lock him up, kick him out of office, says Ryan Razbiani. Spray him in the face. I'm just kidding, that hurts. I'm joking, guys. I'll only do it in a video game, not in real life. Unless it was like one of my old friends I used to pick on real bad because it was funny. I didn't bully him, it was just funny to pick on him. He was my friend. Well, we used to be. I might have picked on him a little too much. But he did have a drinking problem there at the end, so I felt like I had a good reason to leave. It was by my choice, not his choice, so I don't know why I'm telling you that. Frankie Stocks says Congress works for Israel. Well, y'all know that. I don't know why we keep saying it. Nothing really happens. We keep talking about it.
My name's Frankie Stocks. I'm a reporter with the Stu Peters Network. I would just love to ask you a quick question. I'm trying to ask every representative I can.
Go for it, Frank.
That is, do you care more about the American people or Israel as a member of Congress?
I don't think they're mutually exclusive, Frankie.
Can you elaborate?
They're our best ally.
Are they?
Oh yeah, this is like 6 minutes of him going through different Congress members that have been funded by AIPAC. If you want to watch the full 6 minutes, you can. I'm not going to watch the full 6 minutes. It's got a bunch of different Congress people in it. But it's on my page from Frankie Stocks if you want to go look it up. All right. Operation Load of Shit. The USS General Ford had to request an emergency dock in Greece begging for toilets because its shit system exploded. What a humiliation from Parody Joe. Joe is the shit. That's not it. Joe is the shit. Here's the shit. This video is from 2003? What? Is it the same ship, though? Probably from the same ship. I had another video of it. Where is it? I don't see it anywhere. Where's the other video I had? I bet it didn't post. Either way, it had to dock in, like, I think Greece or something. Yeah, docked in Greece, begging for toilets. Now that's an act of God, if you ask me. God's like, hold up, no, we're gonna clog your toilets, we're gonna steer you the other way. We're gonna allow Iran to build up their ballistic missiles, and maybe America will kind of see the potential of the possible situation. Either way, I'm not rooting, for either side in this situation. I'm actually rooting for de-escalation of some type. I actually hope that maybe even we'll see Trump de-escalate, because he's been strong-arming every single nation ever since he got into office. Now, they were taking advantage of us in different ways, but, if you look at the strong history of our past, we've been taking advantage of other nations by going to war, and economic war. I mean, lots of different types of war, actually. Propaganda wars all over the world. Like, we became the evil empire. I hate to say it, because I always thought that we were the good guys growing up, but, you know, there is a point where you grow too big and too strong, and you start to bully other nations, and we're seeing a little bit of that, if you ask me, but I'm hoping that we can de-escalate all this stuff so that Trump can maintain his peace presidency of sorts, even though it's not fully peaceful. But he has backed off at different points, which is good. Maybe it's also trying to build pressure against Netanyahu. I'm not sure. Netanyahu's not really letting off, though, so I don't know if that's a good theory to land on. It's just my wishful thinking, really. I try to be a little bit positive on this channel, but I also try to give you the harder takes, too. Lebanon will be attacked along with Iran. U.S. issues highest level travel advisory for Lebanon. Do not travel after ordering departure of all non-emergency government personnel and their families from U.S. Embassy in Beirut. Level 4, do not travel. Gotta be out of your fucking mind to travel to Mexico after what happened yesterday from, I guess, a Mexican. I have no clue.
Here, Mexico is done. In my opinion, Mexico is done. Why? Because if anybody decides to travel to Mexico after what occurred today, you got to be out of your fucking mind. In my opinion, the tourism in Mexico is completely shot right now. It is very, very evident that the government of Mexico has completely lost control and is completely incompetent. They are not able to handle what is currently going on in the streets of pretty much all over the country of Mexico. I mean, if anybody decides to vacation at one of these resorts in Cancun or Puerto Vallarta, listen, you guys are out of your fucking mind. You're out of your mind because it is completely done. Shit has gotten from bad to worse. I shot a video a couple hours ago. I thought, worse was over. It's getting worse. They are now issuing ultimatums. The cartel are now issuing ultimatums. Meet our demands or else we're going to enter your homes and hotels tonight and begin people, citizens, and tourists alike. This is fucking ridiculous. They're issuing ultimatums. And guess what? As it looks right now, they're looking to follow through with these ultimatums. Listen, there's shit happening all over Mexico. In Cancun, there's shootings and blockades all over the streets. Carjackings erupting in what we consider one of the most popular destinations in the world. Everybody loves the resorts of Cancun, right? Everybody loves the resorts of Puerto Vallarta. Been there dozens of times. Absolutely love it. After what's happened today, never even consider flying in that country again. In regard to Puerto Vallarta, we know what's going on in Puerto Vallarta. It's up in fucking flames. Buildings, cars, blockades. I mean, everything is on fucking fire. Gas stations are on fire. I mean, they're having shootouts in the middle of the fucking streets, right? Between cartel members and the Mexican military. They just killed 2 National Guardsmen and injured another one in an ambush. I mean, they're not fucking around. They're not fucking around. It got bad. As far as Guadalajara Airport goes, I talked about this. Passengers are stranded. Flights.
Pause that right there. You kind of get the idea. Mexico's not in a good situation right now. Epstein Rothschild were hosting most dangerous game arenas. Epstein emails prove the globalist elites were sniping blacks, referred to as moon crickets, in deranged human hunts, torturing and sacrificing babies to feed their demonic bloodlust. Not gonna play that video. Read the top part. Thomas Massey has responded to my call for all members of Congress to release unredacted names, which kind of feels irrelevant because people have already discovered that you can unredact a lot of the documents. And if you got the early release, then you already have all of the documents that were released, at least most of them. I mean, as far as I'm aware, they were capable of being downloaded, weren't they? Am I wrong about that? I'm pretty sure you can download them. So there's going to be some people out there that still have them. I mean, at least theoretically. Japan's former finance minister admitted he handed over control of Japanese financial system to a group of American and European
Last year,
oligarchs.
I confronted Keizo Takanaka, former Japanese finance minister, over why he handed over control of Japanese financial system to a group of American and European
Final
oligarchs.
battle?
He admitted.
That's the name of this chapter, for real?
That it was because Japan had been threatened by an earthquake. I did not believe it at the time. However, when I started exposing some of their doings, I was told by the Japanese security police that because of what I had said on places like Rents.com, that Niigata City was going to be hit by an earthquake. 2 days later, Japan's largest nuclear reactor was the exact epicenter of 2 earthquakes, both 6.8 in magnitude.
Oh yeah, is this where he's like saying that HARP might have caused a earthquake in Japan? I had some video that was talking about that. Yeah, he talks about HARP here. He's basically saying that the earthquake in Japan was caused by HARP. HAARP. Right there. I have no clue. But maybe they figured out a way to cause earthquakes with what also causes weather manipulation. Seems like HARP can do lots of different things. Wouldn't be surprised if it can do more. Alright, is that pretty much all the news we're gonna get to today? Liz Crokin says, the deeper we go, the more unrealistic it all becomes. Controlling the crops controls the people. Might be reaching by throwing it out there. Coincidence? The Matrix movie grew people as a crop, used for energy and controlled their mind. Sound familiar? Cue, everybody! I'm kind of getting tired of posting Q stuff, honestly. Just because I'm just like, alright, can we get done with this PSYOP so we can stop talking about Q? I'm just ready for it to be done. Like, really? Like, let's get some shit done, guys. Or are you just like traitors? Like, I mean, that's where it's starting to kind of lean towards. We were like happy for like half a second, like a week or two ago, that Q was real and Q was right about the pedophiles and the satanic cult and blah blah blah. And now we're just sitting here like, okay, now that Q's right, isn't the sting operation supposed to be real? And now we're just like at the point of like another week later where we're just like, okay, that's the sting operation has not happened, or at least we're not really being told about it. Also, these arrests are not really sticking. The whole Prince Andrew thing, I mean, he got out 11 hours later. So, I don't know, man. I don't have a lot of faith in this stuff, though. I'm going to try to maintain my faith in other things. And that's why I'm probably only going to do 3 news shows a week, just to let everybody know in advance. If you see me do news less often, that's why. It's just because there's no real point if we're not going to have a lot of progress. I want to wake people up, but at the same time, I don't know. I want to do what's right for me too. I want to be mentally healthy. I want to feel fresh every other day. I don't want to feel like we're constantly going to war. I don't want to feel like I'm being constantly psyoped or controlled. I don't even want to feel like I'm being led on with certain narratives. I don't want to lead you on with certain narratives. I don't want to spread propaganda. And I just think it's good on my own soul to try to preserve myself in some way, and also try to preserve my audience from, you know, what could be info that may not be helpful. We don't have a lot of control over these situations. But it is good to voice our opinion. It's just, I might voice my opinion a little bit less often. Just not, I don't know. I'm going to take a different approach. Maybe a more artful approach. I definitely want to focus more on certain art projects that I've been working on in the background. I haven't really talked about them. Might even start that other show since I'll have more time. But yeah, I mean, I just want to feel more fresh. I don't want to feel like this weird, I don't know. I don't want to feel like these weird psyops are like controlling my thoughts or like directing how I behave every single day. You gotta break patterns. You gotta snap out of certain things. Plus, I play a lot of video games, you know? I'm only gonna play probably a good amount of video games for like the next month or so, because I got this Xbox Game Pass. Gonna finish up, I think, Doom tonight. It seems like I'm gonna finish it up tonight. Looks like the last mission is gonna be called... Here, I'll put it on the screen real quick. Last mission... Screen yet? Yeah, right there. Yeah, it's called The Final Battle, so this might be a short episode. It just depends on how fast I beat this thing or not. I haven't looked up any pointers on how to defeat this boss. I remember the last Doom game, the final boss was pretty hard, and you had to like, I don't know, have like a game plan ahead of time. I did not come prepared for this one at all, so I'll have to see how I'll do it. I'm gonna jump it straight in. Is there anything else I wanted to cover? I guess we can cover it on Wednesday or something. As long as I have a show on Wednesday. You never know. I might skip around certain days. I might do even tomorrow. You never know. You never know. Might take 2 days off after that. You never know. Alright, let's start this game. I noticed after me taking this stuff off my screen that for some reason everything performs a little bit better. I don't know why. I guess the graphics card doesn't like motion of other things on the screen. Let's go.
It won't be ready in time, sir.
Refueling complete. Royal Atlan online.
get the gold one? I want the gold one. Fire! Oh yeah. Let me play.
Combat mode engaged. Seat breakers are
You can still hit me. Love it.
Slayer is tearing through the front lines.
Those bases are protecting the siege towers.
Yeah. Get, run! Run! have 2 of them? Never mind, I thought it was a sword. Hello. Love it. What? That's lame. Now I was only gonna get it for like 5 seconds. Bullshit. I love my suit so much. I love it so much, I might even make it my wallpaper. I'm just kidding. I used to do that stuff too. What? No, man, I gotta fight the Kraken now. Bat Kraken, whatever the fuck that thing is. What are we gonna call it? What's its name? I can do that too, bitch. You ain't shit. Yeah, I faced like 1,000 of you. Shut up. Shit. Taking me out, bro. I got you. There we go. Yeah. There we go. Shit. What's up with that dude? Damn it! You got lucky, bro. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Oh. Got him. Got him. Yeah, buddy. What else you got? What else you got? Come on. Dude. Don't tell me I'm gonna beat him this easily. Ooh, finishing blow. Here we go. That was easy. Are we serious right now? Dude, that boss is way too easy. That's the final boss? Hold up. What difficulty is this on? I gotta make sure now. Where's the difficulty at? Hurt me plenty. Yeah, that's the normal difficulty. Okay. It just seemed really easy. That's just weird. Don't tell me that's the end of the game. Can we fight this guy? I want to fight the other guy now. Let's go, buddy. Yeah, I'm about to save. Give me another boss battle.
I can never rule as king, so long as you are the only one they fear.
Oh yeah. Caught my shield. I could block most of those. I don't know why I didn't.
This is true. How does it feel, Slayer?
Dude, come on. There we go. See, I saved that sigil for one last fight, man. Oh yeah. I saved it for one good reason. I basically already beat him anyways, so. Well-used sigil. That's the resurrection thing in the game. Round 2. Guessing he's gonna keep getting stronger. I was about to say it can't be that easy. It's about to get harder. Oh shit.
of this.
Fuck, what the hell? Oh, did the spike hit me? Shit. Come on, dude. You're dead. Come on. No! What? No! What is that about? I won. Can't win that easily. So works out. Hell yeah! Let me get my dragon. Give me my fucking dragon. Nick of time. Favorite dragon dog. Hell yeah! Fight, motherfucker! Please let me fight him with this thing. What happened? No! Oh! What? In the fuck? You son of a bitch! I'm gonna fucking murder you 1,000 times over now. No, you didn't. You did not just kill a man's dog. Do you know what happens when you kill a man's dog? You have no idea what the fuck you just did. Let's go, motherfucker. They'll wake up. Maybe. I don't know. There we go. What the fuck is it? it. Hell yeah. We need a skull-crushing moment. Let's do this. Rip his fucking head off like the last guy. You better not stop me, bitch. I was about to say, he better not try to get me to stop or something, I don't know. He's on my side though. That's right. Getting my baby soul back. Get the fuck out of here, Satan. Not today, Satan! Good time to say that. I saved all those resurrection sigils.
Azric's life signal is still active.
Last of the game.
He's transmitting now
well used.
from the Hell Dimension.
I didn't think I was gonna have to use that last one. Oh yeah, that's my baby. She's gonna be so happy to see me. She looks even prettier than before. We got your soul back. What? Where are you going? Well, I guess he is stabbed, so I would want to give it to her, though. Yeah, that's fucked up, dude. I care more about my dog, too. That's a hard one. Not every day you lose a dragon dog.
Vera.
She's looking healthy.
Are you all right?
I am.
Do we get to play as her now? Yay! 100% complete. What's this one? Reckoning? What is this? What is this? Do I get to win twice now? My badass cape, y'all. Looks like my guts are doing a lot better than they were before. Got me all patched up. Got her all souled up. Full of soul now. Just want to say she looks spectacular in that armor. She's also got a cool new blue hue going on with her eyes. Damn, she's even got a badass blade. Did she get any cooler? Don't answer that. She just answered it for me. You got fire portals? I love it. If you know a girl that can create fire portals, you better marry her. Marry her quick. here, man.
Leave Azra to the Slayer.
Wait, did we not kill him?
Draw the horn to us.
Cool chick. Let's go. Come on, I'm dying here. Go. Too hype right now. Let's go. Let me move. Oh. Kill something. Where are we at? The middle of hell. I like it. I feel like Constantine right now. Like a suit. No. Already? It's a really long time to die. Hopefully the last boss will be a lot harder. Probably regret saying that, but... Fast as ever took one of those things out. Should take a long time to check out. Alright. I want to find one of those stores. I forgot what they look like though on the map. Oh yeah, I think I see one. Way over yonder. Over here somewhere. I saw it. Did I not see it on the fucking map? It's right there. What's the point of this? Do I even need this? It's taking me towards the objective. I kind of want to drop down and the secret key. What? I need gold. Go get some. Get in there. Oh man, do I need that key? I need that stupid key down there. Damn it, that's the only way to get there. Drop it from the top or something. Kinda need some more sigils. I didn't expect to use that last one. I don't even know how many I got. Is this the way? That was weird. Camera went all weird. too. Hell yeah, the old one. Why is it called the old one? It should be named the Kraken or something. It looks like a Kraken. At least whenever I think of a Kraken, that's what a Kraken looks like. I don't know what y'all think about whenever you think about a Kraken, but that's what I think about. Alright, I need some gold. It's kind of some bullshit that I don't have like shit tons of gold right now. After like all the shit that I've done in this game. I'll get down there. There's some shit down there. There's a lot of gold down there. Hold up, hold up, hold up. How have I been over there and I didn't get any of that gold? Turn around right now. Did I really go all the way over here? It's because that stupid door's in the way. Where's that key at? Oh wait, I think I see it right there. No way. Hold up, how do I get up there? Where am I? The secret key is fucking me right now. So I'm gonna go get it. No, come on! Put me on the wrong side. I'll get over there. Just gotta go beneath it. Okay. Here we go. Damn it. I opened that door. Dude. Oh man, I gotta go over there first. Alright, fine. Fine. Some armor. This key is screwing me over, man. I want that key so bad. See that thing first. Why's my shield not going up for this thing? What are you doing right here? What's it do again? Oh, I'm getting excited. I don't even know what it does. I've got a blackhead. I don't know what it does, but I like. Well, I don't even know if I like it. Damn you. tell me where the freaking doors are at, the key doors. I should have got that first. Oh wait. Oh no, I think it was a passageway to get to that gold. Damn it. Oh well. Too late now. It's not gonna let me go back down. Oh wait, I got a store right there. That's good. Yes, I got a store right there. And I got the key now. Hold on. Does that mean I can go all the way back now? I think it does. Yeah. Yeah, I can go back now and get all the other shit. I probably should. Just so I can... buddy. Alright. Gold. Let's go get this other gold. But I have plenty of gold to go back to the store with. I don't know why this gate is still not open. I don't know how to get it open. I don't see any mechanisms anywhere. Skeleton tree. Holy shit, that is a crazy tree. I just now took notice of this shit. That's crazy. It's got ribs. Damn it. This is confusing me now. It's like too many pathways. Oh yeah, I was going this way. Shit. Alright, fuck. I gotta go all the way around. Might as well make something of this episode tonight. I've only got like one more boss battle. I thought I was gonna have a super short episode at first, but what for this last little mission, I was like, well damn. Beat the game. Cracking thing was easy. And that dude, if I was like more concentrated and, I don't know, if I had like a little bit of practice before I got started with the boss battles, I probably wouldn't have lost those sigils. That gold. Go back. Oh, there's really no way to get over there? How do I light this fire? Oh, here it is. I think I already did this earlier. I just couldn't get to that gold because that fucking door's in the way. There it is. But, shit, 1 second. work or not, bitch? Apparently. Here we go. Okay, how do I get to this freaking goal? Go to the other side. Everything's gotta be a pain in the ass. What are you telling me? Yo. Got it. Got most of the gold. How do I get up there? Got some more gold up there somehow, some way. Figure it out. I got way up. Oh shit, I can't do it from here. Can't even get out now. Pathway above me, I just don't know how to get up there. Yeah, it's right there. I have to go this way for it. Oh, I gotta go up there. Yeah. Okay. That's that same passageway I couldn't get through earlier. I'm not sure about it anymore. It's just, let's go this way. Should be some more gold in front of me over here. Get over there. Shit. That's bad. Man, I didn't mean to go this way. Fucking A. Did that again. That's why I screwed up last time. I wasn't able to get that gold. But this is. Okay, I really don't care anymore. Okay. Alright, what do we want to upgrade? Like guns is probably the best thing to upgrade right now. What's this? Extinguishes shock demons. You know, I've been using the wrong one. I should have been using the other one. Why do they all take up so much money? What does this do? Oh, just ammo? Really? That's it? Whatever, none of that. I should have upgraded this gun more. Oh well. I don't know why the gold barely lets me buy anything.
Approach.
I can only buy like one thing at a time.
Slayer's getting close!
Love the pinball shield. Probably the highlight of the game. Oh yeah, I got a VFB. Big fucking bow. like, why do they get all like fucking framey all of a sudden? What's up with the fucking frame rate? I want to make sure I'm still... Check everything real quick. Game is getting kind of funky. Make sure we're still connected and stuff. That's better. Dude. I don't have any more scissors left. It's making it harder to get them. I don't know why it was being so framey. That was weird. still haven't unlocked the frickin' leader yet.
He's on board. We hold our ground until he finishes this.
As I live, the old one can still be resurrected.
Be dead, what the hell? That's right, bitch.
I command the Horde. Kill me, and this war will never end.
Again. Grand finale, everybody. I killed that thing. Alright, it seriously needs to die now. Throw your shield at it. Cut it in half. There you go. Literally what I said. Uh-oh. What's that? Is he seriously not dead yet? I want to see him die. Waiting for, excited y'all. Die, motherfucker, die, motherfucker, die. I win. Fuck you. Victory is sweet, almost as sweet as a cookie. Oh. I had 2 bars open at the same time, I didn't realize. I deserve this cookie. Yeah! That's what I wanted, baby. He even took his eyeball out. That's kind of weird. That's right. Yeah. Go drink or something. Go be a demon. Go wallow. Right, motherfuckers. What we're gonna do to the globalists. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm hyped now. I'm so fucking hyped. What time is it? I don't feel like I should be hyped this late, but holy shit. This game was pretty badass. It got better as it went on. I just kind of wish I'd like had more gold to like buy shit.
Any
I just
word?
Didn't want to go
No
all
one
over
has
the
seen
place.
him since the assault. We are much better off with him on his own. And you, young sentinel, your father tells me great things about you.
Thank you, sir.
The Maker's Church has disavowed all actions taken by the Creed. They give their word he was acting alone, and they'll bring justice to anyone that collaborated with them. We'll move forward with our own Inquisition, quietly.
It is time to look forward. We will always be a people of faith. But we must consider now who we will put that faith in. And I say to you, there is no better place to turn to than ourselves. This is our home, and we will stand together to the last sentinel to defend it. As we have before, as our ancestors did, as we always will. And lastly, I'll ask you to join me now in paying our respect to him. The people of Argentinur rest easier now, knowing he is out there.
Doom Guy? Holy shit. Doom Guy is the head of hell? Look at that. Look at that. The perfect person to guard hell. This game couldn't be more badass, y'all. I love it. Oh wait, we're still fighting hell? Well, that's just, you know, that's fate. That's life. The eternal battle against hell. Alright, y'all, that was a fun game. I loved it. Well, anyways, I appreciate you all for stopping by. If you liked tonight's video, go ahead and like. If you're new to the channel, please follow. We might be on here tomorrow or the next day. It rhymes if I say tomorrow, so. Anyways, I love you. Good night.